Welcome and good afternoon. This is Kamish Orr, and today we are going to play the National League Championship game, possibly one game, of the Baseball Maelstrom tournament using History Maker Baseball's all-time franchise great set. All of the franchises entered this tournament so many days ago, and we are down to the top two National League teams here, the Miami Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals. Miami, the number 16 seed in the National League, its last seed for those of you who are keeping track, against St. Louis. St. Louis is the 3 seed in the National League. Do I think Miami should be in this game? Well, they've earned it. I guess we can say that. I don't necessarily think they're one of the top National League franchises, but they did earn their spot here. So how did we get here? Let's take a look at these two teams. First, let's take a look at St. Louis. St. Louis is 4-0. They've won every game. They won their way through the winner's bracket. In fact, their last win was against Miami. That knocked them down to the loser's bracket. But St. Louis, if we take a look, 287 batting average for the team, which is highest of any team in the National League, and a 2.50 ERA, which is the lowest ERA of any team in the National League. So they've been not only hitting, but pitching as well. Miami, 254 batting average in the National League, which is better than average, but a 5.11 ERA, which is worse than average. So it'll be interesting to see how this matchup happens. How did the teams get here? Let's take a look at that. Well, St. Louis, thanks to the pitching of Bob Gibson, topped Colorado in the first game 4-0. They beat Pittsburgh 7-4 in game 2. McGuire with a couple of home runs in that one. They beat the Dodgers in game 3. McGuire with yet another homer in that one. 2 homers, actually. 2 more homers. And then in game 4, as mentioned, they beat Miami 5-3. They took a 5-0 lead into the 6th before Miami finally scored a few runs off of Dizzy Dean. What about Miami? Well, Miami surprisingly beat the number 1 seed San Francisco Giants in game 1. San Francisco nearly came back in that one, scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th, but just came up short and lost 6-5. In game 2, Miami topped the Homestead Grays 9-7. As you can see in this one, Homestead had a lead, a 7-4 lead here, but Miami scored 2 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th to move ahead of them in that one. Game 3 against the Mets. Miami squeaked this one out 7-6, scoring again a run in the 9th inning to seal the Mets' fate. And finally, as I mentioned, game 4, in the winner's bracket at least, they did lose to St. Louis Cardinals just a couple of days ago, 5-3. But then in the loser's bracket, they topped the Dodgers again, 6-2. Kershaw got knocked out of that one early, allowing 6 runs in the first couple of innings of that one. Meanwhile, Kevin Brown, the Miami ace, improved to 2-0. So Brown will not be available in this game. Instead, let's take a look at the starting lineups. Well, first of all, let's go over to the roller and see. I just brought this up. We see from this, looking at Miami, the visiting team first, they don't have 5 wins in a row, but they would be semi-harmonious here. But there is a perk with the manager, and they are harmony this game instead. So Miami will be in harmony this game. Let me put the umpires in here. We have Cal Hubbard behind the plate. We have Nobuaki Naidigawa, a Japanese League Hall of Fame umpire, over at first. We have Tom Connolly at second and Nestor Chilak at third. We're going to be playing in St. Louis. St. Louis with the home field advantage in this one due to their better record. Now let's take a look at St. Louis on game day. They have won 3 in a row. They've won 4 in a row, actually. So they will have some harmony in this game as well. So let me mark that down. St. Louis harmony. And let's see here. A minor perk with a reserve center fielder is happy this game. So that'll be interesting. Let's see who their reserve center fielder is for St. Louis. That would be Willie McGee is happy this game. Other things of note is that Lou Brock is happy till further notice. Joe Medwick actually got injured a couple of games ago, and he is injured till further notice. He'll likely miss the entire rest of the tournament. So Lou Brock is actually starting in place of Joe Medwick in this game, which shakes up the lineup a little bit. Looking over at Miami, we see that Jeff Conine is an icon till further notice, and Gary Sheffield is hot till further notice. So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye on. Hopefully I will remember both of those. So with that, we are ready to get started here. Let me get the roller set up. If you watch the first game, I've actually got most of the things set up ahead of time. If you want to see how I completely set up from start to finish, you can go to the first video, the game between Seattle and Los Angeles in the American League. You can take a look at that, the beginning of that video, to see how I get everything set up. But I've done most of that work already in preparation for that one, so you didn't have to sit through it again. So for Miami, here's the order and the positions that these players will be playing. We have Luis Castillo playing second base and leading off. Miguel Cabrera playing third base, batting second. And Gary Sheffield at DH. Sheffield on a couple of these franchise teams. Carlos Delgado will be batting in the cleanup spot and at first base. Cliff Floyd in left field in the number 5 spot. Hanley Ramirez will be playing short, batting 6th. Giancarlo Stanton will be playing right field and batting 7th. Juan Pierre batting 8th and playing center field. And finally, Ivan Rodriguez, Pudge Rodriguez, playing behind the plate in this one. Pitching for Miami will be Jose Fernandez. St. Louis. Pitching for St. Louis on the mound is Mort Cooper. Bob Gibson's actually ready to go. However, they're hoping to knock Miami out in this game and save Bob Gibson for the matchup, the championship tournament championship matchup with Seattle. So they're saving Bob Gibson, hoping that Mort Cooper can win this one for him. The batting order for St. Louis will be Lou Brock leading off and playing left field. Stan Musial in right, batting second. Rogers Hornsby at second base, batting third. Big Mac, Mark McGuire, DHing in this game, batting fourth. Albert Pujols batting fifth at first. Joe Torre is at third base in this one, batting sixth. Jim Edmonds in center, batting seventh. Edgar Renteria at shortstop and batting eighth. And Yadier Molina batting ninth at catcher. Notable to you may be that Ozzie Smith is not starting in this game. He is the defensive backup, so he'll come in if things are close later in the game here. All right, so with all that said, we are ready for the first pitch. So, is Rodriguez an iron catcher? He is not. Does Luis Castillo have a good eye? He does not. So, Mort Cooper strikes out Castillo to lead off the game for out number 1. And then the next batter, Miguel Cabrera, will use the right now chart. Or right now chart. Is he a hot batter? He is not hot. A liner down the first base, or down the baseline, fielded by the first baseman for a line out. He lines out to Pujols there at first for out number 2. That brings up Gary Sheffield. Is Cooper ace or dynamic? He is ace, so that is a fly out to center to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Miami. And that brings up the St. Louis Cardinals. By the way, next batter uses experience, so we're going to use experience for this one. Icon pitcher. No, he is in fact a prospect pitcher. So he does not fool Brock with the off-speed pitch. Instead, there's some infield drama. Is the second baseman Castillo iron? He is not. So that's going to be a routine ground out to second base for out number 1. That brings up Stan the Man. He's only hitting 222 so far in the tournament. Once again, is there an iron catcher? He is not iron. Does he have a good eye? He does have a good eye, so he is going to check his swing. And we're going to check the umpire mini chart here to see what happens. Nobody on. Strict umpire at home. This suggests he is strict. Stan thought he foul tipped that last strike 3, but Hubbard rings him up. And that's going to be a strikeout for Jose Fernandez. Stan's slump continues here a little bit. Rogers Hornsby steps to the plate. He's batting .429 this tournament. Is Fernandez an ace? He is an ace, and that's going to be a fly out to right for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for St. Louis as well. Takes us to the top of the second. Mort Cooper dealing against Carlos Delgado. Ace, he is an ace, and that's going to be another fly out to right. Stan hauls that one in for out number 1. Cliff Floyd steps to the plate. Is he flash? This is blank, so he is not flash. Is Cliff Floyd a champion? He is not a champion. So Floyd is going to ground out here to Hornsby at second, who flips it over to Pujols at first for out number 2. Hanley Ramirez steps in. And Mort Cooper is control. Pitch is red, and Ramirez lines that one into left field for a base hit. This is the first base runner of the game. This suggests he is not active, so he does not look to steal here. And that brings up Stanton. Cooper is not a struggler. Is Stanton champion or patient? He is not either. So we're going to have some infield drama again here. Pujols is not iron. So it's going to be a routine ground out to first to end the inning. I need to back up and make sure that took correctly. No, it didn't. Typed in that one. All right, out. And Pujols takes that one himself for out number 3. Bottom of 2. Fernandez dealing against McGuire. McGuire is batting .333. Every one of his 5 hits is a home run in the tournament. Is he an ace? He is an ace, and he's going to strike out McGuire here, who does not have a good eye, for out number 1. It's a second strikeout for Fernandez. Pujols steps in. He is ace, so that is going to be a ground out to first. Delgado scoops it up, takes it to the bag himself for out number 2. Joe Torre comes in here. He's not a struggler. Torre is champion, though, and that is going to be a double to left. Torre's hitting .429 before coming into this game, and that's going to better his average a little bit and puts a man in scoring position for the Cardinals here. Let's see if Jim Edmonds can capitalize on that. That is a deep fly ball, but not deep enough. Stanton on the warning track, and he's going to haul it in for out number 3. So with that, we head over to the top of the third, still scoreless, and Juan Pierre steps in. Pierre only hitting 176. Cooper is not a struggler, and that is going to be an easy ground out to first for out number 1. Pujols takes that one himself. And Pudge Rodriguez steps in. Rodriguez did play for the Marlins later in his career. Cooper is pitching at home, and Rodriguez is going to pop this one out to short. And Renteria has taken that one for out number 2. That brings up the top of the order. Luis Castillo is going to step in here. And it's going to be an unusual result. Let's see what unusual result we have. 2 errors on the same play. Ball is bobbled by the shortstop, and then the throw is mishandled by the first baseman. Interesting. So, reached on error. Let's see if that's one of the possibilities. It is not. So we are going to... The first one was an error on the shortstop. And then the runner advances to second on an error on Pujols at first. So, 2 errors on that play, and Castillo is on second base. 2 outs, though. 2 down here in the top of the third. Miguel Cabrera steps in. Cooper is not wild. Is Cabrera eager? He is not eager. That is going to be a ground out to second because he is not patient for this at bat either. So that's going to be an easy ground out to end the inning. And the 2 errors do not hurt the Cardinals. Up steps Renteria. Fernandez facing the bottom of the order here. There's not a runner on base, and Renteria is not hot, so he is going to pop out to third for out number 1. That brings up Molina for the Cardinals. Rodriguez is not an iron catcher, and Molina does not have a good eye, so that's going to be a strikeout. This is 3rd strikeout of the game, which gets us back to the top of the order. However, because of that strikeout, the next batter uses the right now mini chart. Is the pitcher cold? The pitcher is not cold. This is going to be a towering fly out to center field. Juan Pierre hauls that one in for out number 3. And just like that, we have 3 scoreless innings. Mort Cooper facing off against Gary Sheffield here in the 4th. He's not a struggler, so Sheffield is going to ground that one out. Torrey throws it over to Pujols for out number 1. Brings up Carlos Delgado. He is not patient. So that is going to be a fly out to center. Jim Edmonds, lazy fly ball, hauls that one in. And next batter uses the chemistry chart. Both teams are harmony right now, so let's take a look and see what chemistry says. Batting team dissonance, no. Batting team does not have dissonance, so Cliff Floyd is going to get a walk. Floyd works the count and takes first base. I do use the steal chart. And a 6 is an active and normal steal attempt of second. And Cliff Floyd is normal here. So he's going to attempt a steal of second base here with 2 out. Trying to get something going. And what I do here is I look at the first 2 dice here, the non-blue dice. And that's a 6. Which is a question if the runner is safe or not. We have Molina, who has a gold defense rating and a blank. So Floyd is going to get caught stealing here He needed a 1 on the die, and there was a 5 that came up, so he is going to get caught stealing here. So maybe a pretty silly move there for Floyd, trying to get something going. And instead, he kills whatever rally could have happened here. That takes us to the bottom of the 4th. And Fernandez dealing against Stan. He is an ace, and that would be a strikeout, and it will be a strikeout because, once again, Muso does not have a good eye here on this at-bat. Dropping his average even more. It's 211 prior to this at-bat. That drops it down to 200. Next up, Rogers Hornsby. He is not double control. Pitcher is not batting, so this is going to be a walk for Hornsby. Now, in these cases, when it says a non-stoic may attempt to steal, no jump needed, I usually just ignore that and go by the roll here. So Hornsby will not attempt. Brings up Mark McGuire here. Fernandez, is he fresh? He is semi-fresh in inning number 4, which means he is fresh. It's going to be a ground out to short, and that is going to be an inning-ending double play. 6-4-3. And just like that, we are in the top of the 5th inning. Still scoreless. Both teams with just 1 hit. Hanley Ramirez steps in. And Cooper is an ace, so that's going to be a fly out to center. Once again, Edmonds hauls that one in for out number 1. Brings up Stanton. He is a hero, so that's going to be a single to left for Stanton. The second base hit for Miami. And once again, Stanton's going to try to get something going here. 6 on the micro chart once again. Probably silly. 9 this time. Remember, I'm using the addition of the 2 non-blue dice. And 9 is a straight-up caught stealing. So, once again, Miami not doing well on the base paths. Juan Pierre steps in with 2 down. Cooper is not a star. Is Pierre a sad sack utility or patient? He is not any of those things. That's going to be a single to right field. Active steals. He's not active. Stanton really wasted an opportunity here. Next batter is going to use the experience chart. Prospect batter. He's not a prospect. Otherwise, batter connects fence. That's Ivan Rodriguez. He is not going to have any traits here for this one. Fence, other, is going to be a double. And 4 means, oh, wait. Yep. That was experience. So mini chart 3, actually. Advance 2 bases on any hit. But there are 2 outs. And that will mean, with 2 outs, that Pierre is going to score for the first run of the game as Miami takes a 1-0 lead here in the 5th inning. We're back to the top of the order here. Cooper trying to get out of this one. Castillo's a switch hitter, so he's not going to have the same. He's not utility or sad sack. That is going to be a base hit down the line, and that's going to score another run. Rodriguez around third, and he'll score to make it 2-0 Miami. Miguel Cabrera steps in. Castillo not going anywhere. He is patient. So that is going to be a walk. And suddenly Cooper has an inning that's kind of blowing up on him here a little bit. He is struggling out there. He will be facing off against Sheffield here. Let's see if he can stop it. Control. He is control, and that's going to be a ground out to short to end the inning. Renteria will take that one to the bag himself for out number 3, and Miami takes a 2-0 lead into the 5th, bottom of the 5th. Fernandez dealing against Pujols here. There's not a runner on base, and Pujols is not hot, so that's going to be a pop out to 3rd for out number 1. Joe Torre is not patient. That's going to be a fly out to center for out number 2. Pierre hauls that one in, and next batter uses chemistry chart. Chemistry, batting team harmony. The batting team does have harmony. Edmonds waits for his pitch and draws a walk in this case. 2 means he's not going anywhere. So that brings up Renteria. Fernandez is not a workman. Renteria in this case is not a champ. That's going to be a line out to 3rd base. Cabrera snags that one for out number 3. And we go to the 6th. Miami is still with a 2-0 lead. Delgado at the plate. And that is going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher for out number 1. Cliff Floyd. It's another ground out to the pitcher. Cooper got him to just miss both of those. Hanley Ramirez. He is not hit by pitch, and he's not a cleanup hitter. He is going to fly out to left field here to end the inning. Lou Brock hauls that one in for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Miami's still in the lead 2-0 here. Fernandez is pitching a great game. Yadier Molina leading off for the Cardinals. He's going to strike him out. That's his 2nd strikeout of the game for Molina. And the 5th for Fernandez. We're back to the top of the order. Lou Brock. Fernandez is not a struggler. And Brock is not a champion. He's not a whiffer, so he's going to ground out to 2nd here for out number 2. Brock is 0 for 3 in this game. That brings up Stan Musial here, who is not a hero, surprisingly. So he pops out to 2nd base, still not able to get anything going. So next batter is going to use experience chart. That will be Stanton here. Cooper has still pitched pretty well, actually, into the 7th. And experience is an icon batter. He is not an icon batter. So that's going to be a line out to 3rd base for the first out. Juan Pierre. He is a flash and fresh. Juan Pierre strikes out. That is only Cooper's first strikeout of the game, surprisingly. Which brings up Ivan Rodriguez, who had the go-ahead RBI, or the first RBI of the game here. Cooper is not a workman. Rodriguez is not patient. That's going to be a ground out to 1st. Pujols takes that one to the bag himself for an easy out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch here. Cardinals hoping for something, as Fernandez has held them to 1 hit this game. Hoping to get something going here. Hornsby lead things off here. Fernandez is not a star. Hornsby is not sad sack, utility, or patient. So that is going to be a base hit. Hornsby singles into right field. He's not active, so he won't attempt to steal here from that. However, the number 6 here says that he is going to attempt to steal. Had a lot of those come up. And it's going to be an 8, which is a question if the runner's safe. And we have a blank and a blank, 3 or less, and it's a 2, so it's going to be a stolen base here for Hornsby. Cardinals with a man in scoring position as Mark McGwire steps up. Slugger is going to be, that one's deep. And once again, Mark McGwire, his 6th hit of the tournament, his 6th home run of the tournament. And just like that, this game is tied. McGwire got all of that one over the center field fence. We are tied up 2-2. They're going to let Fernandez pitch to one more batter, maybe. Albert Pujols steps in. Pujols is not patient, and that's going to be a fly out to center. Next batter uses chemistry, so that will be Joe Torre. Fernandez still in. They're going to see if he can get through this inning. Batting team dissonance, no. And that's going to be a base hit for Joe Torre. Jim Edmonds to the plate. Fernandez will probably be coming out. And in will be coming A.J. Ramos. All right, so we have a pitching change here for Miami. Ramos is coming in to pitch, and he will face off against Jim Edmonds here with Joe Torre on first. And the pitch. Ramos is not a struggler. Edmonds is patient in this case, so he is going to walk. So just like that, the Cardinals have men in scoring position once again. They're threatening here with 1 out in the 7th. Renteria only hitting .231 this series. And as I mentioned before, Ozzie Smith is a great defensive replacement there for him. So he did hit .330 that year, though. Yeah, I believe Willie McGee will be pinch hitting for Renteria here. All right, they're going to have Willie McGee here pinch hitting. McGee, a switch hitter. He'll be batting left against Ramos here. Ramos is fresh, so he is going to strike out Willie McGee in this case. McGee strikes out for out number 2. And that would bring up Molina, who has struck out twice in this game already, but he's hit .313 this series. He is a gold-rated fielder, too, so I believe Molina will stay in and bat. They will. They'll allow Molina to stay in here. Is Ramos a star? He is not a star. Molina is a slugger. Slugger will pop out to right. So Molina pops one up. Stanton under it. And that is out number 3 to end the inning. Not before the Cardinals get 2 big runs to tie this game. Ozzie Smith will be in at short. And he'll also be taking Renteria's spot in the order here. All right. We head to the 8th. And Cooper is still on the mound, and he will remain on the mound. We'll see how he does here. He's pitched pretty well other than that 5th inning. And he's still semi-fresh. So he will deal to Castillo here, but they will have someone jumping up in the bullpen if he gets into some trouble. There's no runner on base. Castillo is a hot batter, though, because he singled his last at bat. So that's going to be fence. Castillo, though, with no... Oh, he's a scrapper. No real power here. That's going to be a double, though. A leadoff double for Castillo. And just like that, Miami is threatening again. Cooper will stay in for one more batter. We'll see how he does against Cabrera here. Iron catcher. He is not an iron catcher. Cabrera does not have a good eye, so he is going to strike him out. That's only his 2nd strikeout of the game. It's out number 1. And brings up Sheffield on the right now chart. And remember that Sheffield is hot until further notice. I haven't looked down there yet to see what the result's going to be. But Cooper will stay in for one more batter. So let's see what right now is. Hot batter. He is a hot batter. Knocks it into right field for a single. Delta, he doesn't have a Delta rating. Still going to be a single. Castillo will hold up at 3rd, though, with a 1 base hit. And that will be enough for Cooper. St. Louis moving to the bullpen here. Cooper 7 1/3 innings. So put 7.1. I forgot to put that in for he had 6 1/3, right? 6.1 for Fernandez. So the Cardinals have a lot of options here. Who is up next? Lefty. This is a good spot for Hrabowski to come in here. And that's who they're going to bring in. This, I believe, is his first appearance in the tournament. All right, let's bring him in here. Mad Hungarian coming in to pitch for the Cardinals. Let's see if he can prevent any more damage here. They're going to be having the corners in here. Try to prevent that run while still maintaining the double play chance. So we are Carlos Delgado, who's 0 for 3 today, stepping in. He's not Workman or Gilded. Delgado is not a whiffer in this case. Ground out to 3rd. That's in. Grounder out at 1st. Runner on 3rd holds. Other runners advance. All right, so Torrey makes sure Castillo stays there on the bag. Sheffield will make it to second base here. But that's out number 2. And brings up Cliff Floyd. And we're going to use the experience mini chart. Prospect pitcher. He is not a prospect pitcher. Therefore, it's going to be a ground out to second base. And Hrabowski gets out of this one. Big yell from him as he gets out of the inning. And keeps the score tied. Ramos still out there with the tie game, not knowing how long this one's going to go. But they will have movement in the bullpen if necessary here shortly. Brock is not eager. That is going to be not only a walk, but active steals. And Brock is double active, which means he's going to steal second and third. That's going to bring the infield in here. Stan with a chance to redeem himself. Next batter uses the chemistry mini chart. Pitching team dissonance, no. So there's going to be infield drama here. Is the pitcher gold? He is not gold. Musial, a comebacker to the mound, and Ramos can't come up with it. That's going to be an error, and Lou Brock is going to score the go-ahead run on the bobble. What a way to lose the lead. So Hornsby steps in. Next batter uses the experience mini chart, and we've already been down at that chart for chemistry, so we're going to re-roll. Experience, prospect batter. He is not a prospect. So that's going to be a base hit. And that will be the end for Ramos here, as he does himself no favors with that error. And we have runners on first and second with no outs. Cardinals have taken the lead 3-2 in this one. Ramos will be replaced. He pitched 2/3 of an inning. And in will be Rob Nen. Yep. So Rob Nen will come in to pitch. It was interesting how many of these players on Miami's team were stars at one point on other teams. All right, so here we are. We have Mark McGwire facing off against Rob Nen. McGwire with the big 2-run homer in his last at-bat to tie the game. Let's see what happens in this one. Is Nen a star? He is a star. That is going to be a ground out to fielder of our choice, probably a shortstop. And it's a fielder's choice. They tried to turn 2. Now we have runners on the corners with 1 out. And they will have the corners in for Pujols. Double control. He is not double control. Pitcher is not batting. So that's going to be a walk. Pujols draws ball 4. That loads him up. And Joe Torre, he's 2 for 3 this game, batting .471 in the tournament. Corners are still in. Ace, semi-ace, of course. It's a deep fly out to right. That is going to be deep enough to score. Musial on third. Everybody else holds up. Cardinals take a 2-run lead, 4-2. Jim Edmonds to the plate. See if Rob Nunn can get out of this with no more damage done. There are runners on base, so this can be some plate drama. Control pitcher, yes. In the strike zone, catcher gloves it, strike. Check umpire mini chart. So we're going to check the umpire mini chart. Runners on first and second. Questionable umpire at home. He is not questionable. Would have been a single. With a runner on second out at home. Instead, it's going to be a regular single to load the bases here. Bases are loaded for Ozzie Smith, who will bat. Is Rob Nunn wild? He is not wild. Is Ozzie Smith eager? He is not eager. Therefore, it is going to be a ground out to second, except that he is patient in this case, so he is going to draw a bases loaded walk. A bases loaded walk for Ozzie Smith, which brings up Yadier Molina, and he will bat. They're going to be batting around here. Let's see if Rob Nunn can get out of this one. Same, and it is the same. Molina goes down on strikes. It's his third strikeout of the game. Ends the inning. But not before St. Louis gets 3 big runs. Let's see. There was an error here, so that would have been out number 3 right here. So that other run is also unearned. So 3 unearned runs. Thanks to a miscue there by Ramos. Well, honestly, though, no. This run is earned because he was on third base and he would have scored with this single anyway. So that run's earned. The other 2 are unearned. All right. We head to the 9th. And the Cardinals will bring in their closer. Then pitched, what, 1 inning? Yeah. Fielder's choice, that's 1 out, 2 outs, 3 outs. Okay. So Nen pitched 1 inning. Now the 9th, Cardinals will turn things over to their closer, Bruce Sutter. And the first batter he will face will be Hanley Ramirez. Who is not patient, so will fly out to center field. Oh, I got to put Sutter in here. So Ramirez flies out to center. Brings up Stanton. And we'll use the chemistry chart for this one. Pitching team does not have dissonance, so there's going to be infield drama. Sutter is not iron. So that's going to be an easy ground out to the pitcher. Sutter over to Pujols there for out number 2. And Juan Pierre will not bat, I don't believe. Juan Pierre. He did hit 326. Actually, he is their best. Sadly, he's the best hitter they have right now. He is 1 for 3 in this game. So they will let him bat. The thing about Miami is their backups, their bench players are not very good, comparatively speaking. So Suter deals. He is not patient. So that is a fly ball. Edmonds ranges under it, and he hauls it in for out number 3, and that is the game. St. Louis takes this one 5-2. Fernandez was cruising into the 7th inning before McGuire's 2-run homer, which is only the 3rd hit of the game at that point for St. Louis. And then in the 8th, things kind of fell apart with Ramos's error. So Ramos is going to get the loss in this one. And I believe, yep, he had come out already. So Hrabowski's going to get the win, and Suter's going to get the save, because Cooper had come out here, and the Cardinals didn't take the lead to the bottom of the 8th. So there you have it. Big game. Once again, McGuire stepping up with a home run. And probably, well, Joe Torre was 2 for 3. Not many hits there. Cardinals only had 6 hits in this one. So I don't know. We may give the player of the game to Mark McGuire with his 2-run homer here to tie things. Hornsby was 2 for 3 also with a walk. Yeah. Interesting game. So with the win, Miami will go home, and St. Louis will advance to the championship. They will face off against the Seattle Mariners. Seattle also with no losses. So we will have a 3-game, a best-of-3 series here between St. Louis and Seattle to determine the champion of the tournament. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you did, if you want to check out more, head over to baseballmaelstrom.com. You can get more stats, more in-depth stats there. Keep track of the action. I will also be playing the Seattle-St. Louis game. St. Louis will have home field advantage once again in this one because they have a higher seed. And so they will have home field advantage. They will be the home team in all 3 games if we need them. But as soon as one of the teams loses twice, that's it. Best of 3 series. Neither team with a loss yet in the tournament. Both teams 5-0. Bob Gibson will be on the mound for St. Louis. I'm not sure. I can't remember who's going to be on the mound for Seattle. But should be interesting. Keep watching. Consider subscribing if you want to follow the action as I head to the end of this project. I'll have more projects coming shortly. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, have a great evening.